Hey there. It's funny how we use some words 1,000 times a day without ever really thinking about them. Today, we're going to pull one of those words out and put it right under the microscope. It's a word you know, a word you use all the time, but I guarantee it has a secret life you probably never expected. So, let's get into it.
So let me just ask you straight up. How many ways can you use a simple word like across? Go on, take a guess. 1? Maybe 2? It seems pretty straightforward, right? Well, you might be surprised just how much work those 6 little letters can do. Let's see if you're on the right track.
All right, so first we're going to break down the 3 main meanings of across. It turns out this little preposition does a ton of heavy lifting in our sentences, and a lot of the time we don't even consciously notice it. Okay, first up, the one we all think of first, movement. When you use across this way, you're talking about the action of getting from point A to point B, from one side of a thing to the other side. It's all about making a journey, whether it's a huge one or a tiny one.
Here's a perfect, classic example. I walked across the bridge. It couldn't be clearer, right? That word across is defining the entire action of moving from one end of that bridge to the other. It's simple, it's clean, and it's all about motion.
Now let's look at the second meaning. This one is totally different because it's not about movement at all. It's about location. When we use across this way, it's telling you where something is. Specifically, it's on the opposite side of some kind of barrier, like a street or a field. It's a fixed position.
For example, if you say, I can see him across the street, he's not in the middle of crossing it. He's already there, on the other side. See the difference? The first meaning was action. This one is all about position.
And our third meaning, well, this one's kind of a mix of the first two. It describes something that spans a gap, something that exists on both sides at the same time. It isn't just on the other side, it's actually covering the whole distance between the two sides.
So, think about this sentence. The bridge is across the stream. The bridge itself is what's spanning the stream. Its whole purpose is to connect those 2 points. It's a really elegant way to describe that connection over an obstacle.
So, okay, 3 different meanings. That's pretty cool for one little word. But, the story doesn't end there. Not even close. Actually, the most interesting part is what we haven't even talked about yet. See, this word, it's part of a very, very exclusive club.
And now, it's time for the big reveal. We're about to find out why across isn't just a handy word to have, but why it's a fundamentally important word for anyone speaking English.
And that brings us to this number, 850. What on earth could 850 have to do with the word across? Well, it turns out across is one of only 850 words on a very special list called the Basic English List.
So what does being on these lists even mean? Well, being on that Basic English 850 list means it's considered an essential building block for the entire language. It's also one of the 1,000 most used words out there. So this isn't just some common word, it's what you might call a cornerstone word.
So that kind of begs the question, right? What exactly is Basic English? It's a really fascinating idea that shows you just how powerful a small, well-chosen vocabulary can actually be.
So, Basic English is pretty much what it sounds like, a simplified version of the language. The entire system is built on just 850 words like across, that are powerful enough to express almost any idea you can think of. The whole point was to create a super effective tool for clear communication no matter where you are in the world.
And here's a cool little linguistic detail. Even with a fundamental word like this, you still get some variety. Just listen to the subtle difference in how it's said in the UK versus the US. That vowel sound just shifts a tiny bit, from across in the UK to more of an across in the US. A tiny change for a word that's so globally important.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. What's the big takeaway from our deep dive into one little word? Honestly, it all comes down to the incredible, and often overlooked, power of simplicity.
Here's the real lesson. You don't actually need a massive vocabulary to be a great communicator. If you can truly master a core set of flexible, essential words just like across, you can express yourself with amazing power and clarity. And really, that's the whole foundation of communication. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. If a simple word like across is hiding this much power, what other everyday words are out there, hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to appreciate how versatile they really are? It's something to think about. Thanks for exploring it with me today.